Hello and welcome to Newsroom series today. Our focus is the South-South region, but we'll bring you some stories first from other parts of the country, and we'll also begin in the South-South, where some women from the Igbo community in the Akwa local government area, River State, have protested to the Port Harcourt International Airport. The protesting women, who were all dressed in black, blocked the airport roundabout gate, which leads into the complex, even as they brandished placards with various inscriptions. In the midst of the commotion, the chairman of the River State Council of Traditional Rulers, Sergeant Awuse, addressed the women and promised to look into the matter. Afterwards, the protesting women withdrew and opened the gates to the airport. Funding in the health sector is a major challenge in addressing Nigeria's fight against infectious diseases. This is according to the Director General of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, Dr. Olajide Idris, at a media briefing in Abuja. Dr. Idris told journalists that the NCDC roadmap for health security 2024 to 2026 will address the issue of prevention of infectious diseases in Nigeria. Now let's get down to brass tacks on Newsroom series today in the South-South region, which is our focus. In order to boost and diversify the Cross River State economy at the just concluded three-day energy summit in Calabar, Governor Bassi Otu is calling on businessmen and investors to invest in renewable energy because that is a solution-based approach to dwindling oil revenues across the globe. The governor was speaking at the Calabar International Convention Center, where he also explained that the aim of the summit is to key into green energy in order to create employment opportunities for the teeming youth across the state.
It's a gathering of experts in the energy and power sector, as well as economic consultants, to brainstorm on how best to utilize the vast natural resources in order to boost the economic activities of Cross River State. The approach is geared towards achieving a fruitful deliberation with organized private sector and strategic investment partnership to release the needed energy for the country, with the theme redefining energy architecture of Cross River State using sustainable fuels.
Cross River State operates a wide network of trade routes.
The summit is centered on the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu's led administration in order to position the energy sector within the country and sub-Saharan region.
Energy is among the first-line enablers of industrialization, hence a catalyst for national economic growth and development. Nigeria is undoubtedly blessed with both fossil and renewable energy sources. Coupled with the National Assembly's amendment to the energy law, removing it from exclusive to concurrent list, the state is open to potential investors for possible partnership in the provision of clean and affordable energy for our citizenry.
The special advisor to the Vice President on Economic Affairs, Mr. Tope Fashua, commends the innovation by the River State government, where he explains that the federal government will support the initiative.
Permit me, please, ladies and gentlemen, to congratulate and extol His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Cross River State, for this unique initiative, and please be assured of the full support of the federal government of Nigeria and our principal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in advancing this cause and ensuring that your initiative get the needed traction, recognition, and fruition.
Speaking on the benefit of the summit, the Commissioner for Finance says it will boost the state's economic, tourism sector, as well as create job opportunities for unemployed youths.
So what we are doing now is to create that environment, create that sensitization, meet with regulators, meet with investors, meet with other stakeholders, and tell them that the investors will be coming and we are ready for you. The nation is ready for you, and will give you all you need to do the business that you want to.
Expectation here is that at the end of the three-day summit, investors will take advantage of the enabling environment that the federal government has created in the energy sector to improve electricity generation and supply in Cross River State and beyond.
And now, joining us from Calabar, the Cross River State capital, is the Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Michael Odere, who will be telling us how the state is planning to fund the energy sector. Thank you for coming on the program today.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Now, given the changing economic times in the country and the challenges across the board, especially in terms of funding of different projects, what specific initiatives or projects is the Cross River State government currently employing to enhance energy, infrastructure, and accessibility?
Thank you very much. Before going to specific, it would be nice to say a very good thank you to His Excellency Deputy Governor of Cross River State, Senator Prince Bassey Edetosu, who has believed in us and has enabled us to do what we are doing. With the support, I mean, we're doing a lot of things in the sector. There are a lot of things we're looking out for. First of all, we need to create a framework before going into specifics. If we go into specific projects in the sector that has just been restructured, we know that the last electricity bill has just been repealed, and we have a new Electricity Act. We need to position ourselves in line with what the federal government is doing. So the economic projections of the states has to be in line with that of the federal government. And so one of the first steps to do is to call stakeholders in this sector together before we start looking at projects. Of course, we have a couple of projects, but then we need to put an enabling environment that will create the support, the required support, both legal and operational support that we need, a framework that we need to be able to invest in this area. Investors usually will find it easier if your legal framework and operational framework aligns with their own organizational objectives. And so that is what we're doing first. This conference is to sensitize, tell the people about the opportunities that abound in Cross River State from our locational advantage. Of course, we know that Cross River State borders a lot of states and countries in the Western and the Gulf of Guinea. So that gives us a locational advantage. We can travel and move your goods from Cross River to other parts of Africa. And then we also have a long coastline that can support wind and all of that. We also have enough gas resources, gas reserve in Cross River States that will also sustain more greener and cleaner fuels. So this summit was to outline those advantages, comparative advantages, youthful population. So we have the manpower, we have the labor, and then the support, the government support, and we have an enabling legislature to support whatever they are doing. So this summit is to create that platform where we will discuss what will you be looking out for as the investor to come to Cross River State. As Cross River State, what do we have to offer to the investor to invest in Cross River State? We have showcased all of this, and then for the regulators, the federal government, thanks to the NNPC and the Nigeria Gas Expansion Program, they were here with us. It's for us to synergize positions and to see where next. What do we go to from here? What do we do? So in the next couple of months, you will start seeing specific projects get towards enhancing the power supply through cleaner and more sustainable energy sources. Thank you.
Now, the energy sector is capital intensive. We expect to be spending a pretty penny. How does the state government plan to secure funding for these energy sector projects, particularly considering budget constraints and competing priorities?
Yes, so that's also why we're having summits like this. There are different funding options. There's equity, there are partnerships that you can explore. There are also other funding options where your partners build, operate, and transfer. They can build, operate, and own. There are different funding options that we need to leverage on. However, we are considering, we have a very strong Bureau for Public-Private Partnership department here in Cross River State. We're working with these investors. We're also there at the business. So what we are doing is to check for a mix that will favor our own cash flows. We know that we have limited cash flows from the Federation and from other sources. Bearing in mind that what the revolution we are doing, the economic revolution we are having in Cross River State is not just for the energy sector, it's for other sectors too. While the energy sector is trying to provide the enabling environment for businesses and individuals and dwellers in Cross River State to have, make it easier for them to do their businesses, you know, when they do these businesses, our taxes will improve. I mean, the power generation, you need to be able to afford to pay for the power. So power is there to make businesses easier. We also have other projects that we will be doing, we'll be embarking on as a state that will not be depending on government's cash flow. We are looking at self-liquidating projects. You know, projects should be able to pay for themselves. I mean, and then the government needs to take itself out of the operations of this project for this project to be able to pay for themselves. So this project will be economically viable. So a proper cost-benefit analysis will need to be done on any project that we're embarking on. Say I'm doing a cassava factory, for instance. I'll need to have my off-takers ready to fund my off-takers both in the local and the international market to fund my dollar requirements. I'll need to have farming communities where I will engage. I'll need to have a research department that will give me the best inputs for the farmers. And I'll need to have ready off-takers, people in the logistics and transport company to be able to move goods if the factory is far from the farmers, from the factory to the farmers. So you need to have a holistic view and a holistic dynamics on your project before that project is embarked upon. Yeah, the states and governments have been used to doing projects for social impact and social needs. I think we have gone past the stage where we think that social projects cannot be social investments. So we're going to be having investments that will provide the social benefits to the people, that will protect the environment for sustainability's sake, and that will also raise money to care for other aspects of the economy. So yeah, there are various funding options, range from equity to partnerships to outright bill operating transfers to outright acquisition of land by the investors and then constructing theirs. So at that point, the exigencies of running the business will be on the investors. But what we will do as a people, as a state, and the promise that my People's First governor, the Senator Prince Bassey Editor 2 has promised, is that we will give you all the required support, both legislative and local support in land acquisition, in community engagement, which is one of the biggest issues we see sometimes when we go into projects, to repatriating your profits. So we are also willing to put in instruments, financial instruments in place that will help check for the fluctuation, currency fluctuations. So we're not just looking at what we have now, we're looking at structures that will that will stand the test of time, that will be more sustainable. From the issues we see today, we see how the money policy rates are increasing. We see how inflation is driving out. All the instruments and indicators are going at the opposite end. Yeah, so we have seen that. We know that these are things that can happen. So if you're a businessman coming to the States, we already have this in perspectives, and we'll sit down with you to design processes, procedures, instruments that will mitigate most of these uncertainties that might come when we are running businesses.
As the Honorable Commissioner for Finance in Cross River State, you're speaking for the government and your principal, His Excellency Bassey Otu. How about the private sector? We understand it's important that these partnerships are brought to the fore, collaborations with the private sector. Are there any such instances with entities, international organizations in the private sector in place to support the funding and implementation of energy projects in Cross River State?
Yeah, of course we. If I speak for just the government and the public sector, I won't be doing justice to the state, and I won't be doing justice to my people. Businesses will not flourish if the private sector is not taken into consideration. In fact, they are the most critical aspect of this. I know the beneficiaries, the end beneficiaries will be my people. what we care about. So I don't only speak for the government. I speak for the people of Cross River State and of course Nigeria in general. So the private sector is actually at the fulcrum of this discussion. They are the ones coming in. I do not have money to do this project. I have other social responsibilities. So if I do not create an environment that favors the private sector and have them in mind when drafting any legal documentation or laws on enabling business laws or the House of Assembly resolutions to support their businesses, then they won't come. One of the issues that businesses get is that they don't have that enabling environment. They have funds. There are funds everywhere. So we have been talking to multilateral organizations. We have been talking to private-owned foreign organizations and local organizations because we also want to develop our local content. The truth is there's funds also in Nigeria. There's money in Nigeria, but this money is that it puts in proper use. Everybody's skeptical. So there are people that have funds, even in the country. Most of the people that came, most of my partners that came for this conference that we just rounded up are locals. Locals, some of them living in the diaspora and some of them in Nigeria, willing to take projects, go into projects if we give them the relevant support that they need. They do not need your funding. What they need is that they can run their business swiftly without disturbance from the locals. And they don't want you to also put too much restriction and taxes on them so that businesses can be sustainable. If I go now to the electricity sector, fine, it's something we really need, but we are not, as a country, paying so much on electricity as, contemporaries are. But then we need to create an environment to enable them to be able to make funds and pay off their investments over time.
We wish you the best in this endeavor as you put Cross River State on the map that will benefit the people and the good citizens of Cross River State energy-wise and finance-wise. We've been speaking with the Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Cross River State, Mr. Michael Odere. Thank you so much for coming on Newsroom Series today.
Thank you very much for having me.
In the meantime, Governor Duri of Bayelsa State affirmed that despite the substantial expenses involved in construction, his administration remains steadfast in its dedication to the state's progress. The governor expressed anticipation for the day when vehicles will traverse to Brass Island. These remarks were made during an unscheduled inspection tour of the Nembe Brass and Yenagoa Okporoma Okubie Road projects.
Bayelsa State continues to witness infrastructure advancement across all its local government areas, as articulated by Governor Duri during an inspection of ongoing projects along the Nembe Brass Road. The governor expressed contentment with the pace of work, but emphasized his commitment to completing all projects initiated during his initial tenure as a state's leader, prioritizing them despite the exorbitant cost of construction materials.
Development cannot be arrested as a result of high cost of construction. What we are witnessing will be what they call variation. The company will come up with variation, and Ministry of Works will look at it, evaluate it, assess it, and agree on the amount due for valuation.
The governor, accompanied by other prominent members of his administration, also conveyed gratitude to President Tinubu for demonstrating a willingness to collaborate with the Bayelsa State government in finalizing the project.
Let me use this opportunity to appreciate and congratulate His Excellency the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, whom I've met twice, and he has given me his word that he has directed the Minister of Works to collaborate by completing the second phase of this road.
The significance of this project's construction and eventual completion is not overlooked by the locals who laud the government's efforts. Monday Obolo, a member of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, and Talford Ngolo, the caucus chairman of the PDP Bayelsa State, expressed their appreciation.
The governor, His Excellency, has exceeded the expectations of our people. We are all excited. Traditional rulers, opinion leaders, day after day, they come to visit this work. We are all expectant and we are happy that we have lived to see this day.
We as a people, on behalf of the political class, you should be assured of our continued total support and commitment.
The newly appointed secretary to the Bayelsa state government, Professor Nimi Bofa-Ayawe, described the project as highly ambitious while commending the governor for his efforts.
The governor has said the funding is not going to stop. So we're very happy, glad that this is coming to pass in our time.
Additionally, the governor urged the Niger Delta Development Commission to ensure the rehabilitation of the Obia-Nemba Road field section, a project initiated during last year's election period in the state.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Umar Eno has approved the expansion of the scope of work of the ongoing Uyo Ewet Gully Reclamation and Beautification project in order to rescue Nigerian Correctional Service facility from collapse. The governor gave the consent during an unscheduled inspection of the project at the Dominic Utok Avenue axis of the site. Just to cushion the effect of the current economic realities in the country. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Governor Umar Eno has also set aside 1.5 billion naira interest-free fund to support traders in 3 senatorial districts of the state. The governor announced this when he flagged off the food security program of the state bulk purchase agency in Uyo, state capital, with the presentation of food vouchers to vulnerable members of society.
Ita Market is about the biggest in the capital city of Uyo. And this explains the reason it has been picked for the official flag-off of the food security program of the Akwa Ibom State Bulk Purchase Agency. This initiative, which aims to make staple food available to the less privileged members of the society at a reduced rate, is one of the temporary measures taken by the Umar Eno administration to address the prevailing food inflation in the country. The Special Assistant to the Governor on Market Affairs thanks Governor Umar Eno for this initiative.
This scheme is the first of its kind in the country, and as other state governors aides are calling my line to borrow from our sample, Akwa Ibom State remains a shining light in Nigeria. Our own is to monitor.
The chairman of the Akwa Ibom State Bulk Purchase Agency provides an overview of the initiative.
We have social register, which was updated some months and years ago. Your name as the beneficiary must be there. You must have your name there. And the second item is that we've met all the agents, selected agents, to make sure that they distribute these things, deliver it up to the unit, as far as your name is inside the register, social register.
This is for you.
Governor Eno announces a 1.5 billion naira interest-free fund to support traders in the 3 senatorial districts of the state. He also stresses the importance of agriculture, but warns against any action that would jeopardize the program.
As we flag up this today in Uyo, I charge all the local government transition committee, they must flag up this program next week, Tuesday, across the entire local government. So you have 1.5 billion naira interest-free loan for the market people all over Akwa Ibom.
The food security program of the Akwa Ibom State Bulk Purchase Agency is set to significantly reduce the current economic hardship that the people are currently facing.
8 months after a stray bullet from the gun of NDLEA officers killed 2-year-old Ivan Eromosele and also left his younger brother with an eye injury, the parents, Mr. Fidelis Omoria and his wife, say that they are pleading for the intervention of President Bola Tinubu to help save what is left of their surviving son's eye, which they say is now in deteriorating condition.
They have killed my son with straight bullets in the shop.
8 months ago, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, were on an operation to capture offenders.
They have killed my people.
Unfortunately, a stray bullet from one of its personnel hit and killed a 2-year-old, while the shattered glass as a result of the same bullet went through the left eye of his younger brother. His devastated parents took him to the Federal Medical Center Asaba for treatment. A few weeks after, the NDLEA boss visited the family and promised to ensure the little boy gets the necessary medical attention.
We are in the process of making sure he is sponsored to the hospital chosen by the father in the U.S.
8 months down the line, the family says that promise is yet to be fulfilled as their child's eye deteriorates daily. Accusing the agency of doing nothing to help as promised, the victims' parents say a large chunk of their income is spent on drugs, and efforts towards securing a visa to get medical attention abroad has been futile. They are asking the president to intervene.
At least let them treat the boy. Let them take responsibility for their action. Not suffocating me. Allowing us going through stress. I'm still begging. I'm still begging federal government. I'm still begging Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Her mother is emotional as she narrates how traumatizing the whole experience has been, not just for her, but the family.
I hardly step out of the gate. I have been indoor. Because I have a child who is always reminding me of the whole thing. I close my eyes and the whole scene is playing back in my head.
The man sued them to court, and they brainwashed the man to go and withdraw his civil suit in court. He sued NDLEA over the killing of his child and then shooting of his child. And they brainwashed him to withdraw. They are going to take the son to abroad for surgery. And till this moment, nothing has happened. It is from one promises to another.
This is one operation by the NDLEA against drug peddlers which did not only cut short the life of a boy, but also on the verge of causing another to lose his left eye, except something is done, and fast too. For now, the parents are hopeful that the president will prevail on the matter to get the NDLEA to make good their promise as soon as possible.
We hope the NDLEA and the federal government to respond promptly to the Ivan Aramosele, the family of Mr. Fidelis Omoria. That's it on Newsroom series today. Thank you for watching. I'm Alumde Macaulay. See you again.